Nikwe?
I agree with Mr. Mensah. I think the government would only complicate the issue. A lot of people don't really listen to the government as much as sometimes they should. So I really think that the government will complicate the issue when more people would actually step away from listening to what the government has to say. But if you attack everybody from what they're already interested in through social media, it's a lot easier.
How about our university systems?
University systems would be a great idea, to be honest with you, because like I said before, whether we're talking about the Western world or back in Africa, I think in Africa they teach more of African history because it makes sense. But in the Western world region, I think that African history needs to be taught a lot more. And if they did do that, which somehow I doubt they would, but but if they did do that more often, then our kids would be more inspired and they would understand exactly what it is that, or who it is that they are from generations back.
But you know that in some of the universities here in Europe and in the United States, most likely in Canada, they are teaching the Medonetta. There are classes that students go to learn the Medonetta. And that writing actually belongs to Africa. And we don't even know anything about it.
It's unfortunate, but we have to face it. The continental Africa don't know African history more than the African diaspora. We have to face it. And I mean, like Nick said, I always believe that mobilizing people from the grassroots level is the way to go. Because, look, if you go to the universities now and start talking about Meraneta, hieroglyphy, nobody knows about it. So the best way would be to prepare them psychologically to be ready before they even get to the university level. That kind of organization and mobilization made Kwame Nkrumah so effective organizer, and that what brought him to power. He started from the grassroots level, organizing masses. Before you know, they get, you know, you empower them and get them involved. So if we get them, do that and get the mass on our side, look at the Arab Spring that just took place. Because people were involved. They were part of the process. And the whole government was brought down. No one government, several governments were brought down. So we need to empower people and get them involved in the process.
Can I cut in for a second?
Sure.
Personally, I would like to see the Black history and African American history taught more in our high school sector of the educational system. The reason I say that is because once you pass high school and you get into college or university, at that stage you're choosing what, you know, program or courses or what, you know, doctrine you want to get involved in.
Right.
Whereas when you're in high school, the curriculum is set for you, and you know you have choices, but you don't really have much choices. You know what I mean? So if they were to implement more of the African American studies within the high school sector of the educational system, I think that would be much more beneficial to everyone, especially the youth.
I see. You know, 2012 is a very important political year for Ghana and the United States. In the United States, we have President Barack Obama trying to get a second term. It is an uphill battle. In Ghana, we have an election on December the 7th. What are the chances of Barack Obama succeeding, and who do you think will come out on top in Ghana?
I think it's an uphill. It has always been uphill for him, but the truth about American people is they know who represent their interests. Because what Obama is saying is not different than any leader would say. He came in and he said, I'm in for change, and the change is, in today's terms, the economy is very bad. So what we need to do, the most rich need to be economically patriotic by paying a little more taxes. And the people on the other eye has misinterpreted it, calling it rich distribution. If you're so patriotic and you want to send people to go and fight war, that war needs to be paid for. So I believe Obama stand for change, stand to hold. He's not he's not doing anything wrong, he's not doing anything bad. People are still in support of him. In terms of Ghana, well, Ghana, we have three major parties. We have NDC, we have MPP, and we have CPP. And from what I know, living in Ghana when I was growing up, CPP party is a government that involves people in a process of governance. And they actually develop the country, both infrastructure and socially. The infrastructure that you see in Ghana now is infrastructure that Kwame Nkrumah had put in place probably 50, 60 years ago. There has not been major change. So if people have to look hard of what has happened, they have to make a right choice and make sure that CPP party that have been so, progressive in every aspect of the word should come back to power.
Nikwe?
In regards to U.S. politics, I also agree with Mr. Mensah there. In regards, he mentioned that taxes has to be raised, and money has to come from somewhere. So he's right. If indeed they want all these things, then taxes are gonna have to be raised, and they need to get that done. I understand that part of this election is basically a war on the healthcare system. Also, that's one of the challenges that they're basically wrestling over. Personally, if I was either Barack or Mitt Romney, I would basically just imitate the Canadian model in what we've done here and use the same thing in the States. I don't know how complicated or easy that would be, but that would be my approach.
They're going to propagate it against our socialism.
Sorry?
They were going to propagate against it our socialism.
Okay.
They think your system is a socialist system.
Right, gotcha. Okay. But in terms of Barack and the way he's handled himself in the debates, the first debate, I personally think that he took a lot of punches. But from then forward, he's actually redeemed himself, and he's explained himself, and he's composed himself, and explained himself very well in terms of what he has to say to defend himself. In terms of Ghana politics, I would really have to go with Nana Akufo-Addo. I know that in the past he said some things that, it didn't quite sound right, but I think he was misunderstood from what he said. But presently in his campaign, what he's doing is a really big eye opener. It seems like this guy has a vision for the country. He's not just there to sit for 4 years and move on. From his campaign, it looks like he's interested in the educational system. He wants to make secondary school free per se for all Ghanaians. He's looking into helping small businesses with their business right there. He understands that the oil that we found is not a permanent source of income per se. He understands that that oil will someday tap out, so therefore he's not relying on the funds from that oil resources. What he's trying to do, which I admire about this guy, is that he's trying to make Ghana an industrial country where we produce something for ourselves, which means that we will have a residual income, which means that we can sustain and basically eventually fix everything that we need fixed within the country. So that's what I understand from what he's trying to do so far. And he's very well spoken. He's been in politics for a very long time, 30 some more years. He sounds very confident, and I'm confident in him that in the event that he was elected president, he will actually do a very good job for the country.
I see. When I was a child growing up, we used to have free lunch, and then at the end of the week, they used to give us soap to go back home and wash our clothes and everything. I grew up to be a man and realized that all what Kwame Nkrumah was doing for it was propagated against. They didn't like it. I see that Nana is now taking the Kwame Nkrumah model And then the point I'm trying to raise here is this. So Ghanaian politics is now so blurred that they don't have to worry about the antecedents of their ideologies. You know, if you can.
No, it's probably, I don't know how in that we are, or Nikwe is in Ghanaian politics. He just believes in what he's saying, and I think he's entitled to his opinion, and whoever comes in and do the right thing for the country, we are for it.
Nikwe?
Precisely what he said. At the end of the day, this is about building a better Ghana. The corruption has to stop, and a lot of things has to be done. The country itself needs some better roads in certain sections of the country. We need a better waste management facility or infrastructure to take care of that aspect of things. So there's a lot of things that needs to be done. So really, I mean, it doesn't matter to me really who wins, but personally I think Mr. Nana Akufo-Addo would do a better job in terms of leading the country, from what I understand of what he's been doing.
Nikwe, you have been watching my show, and you report back to me as to how you're helping me to spread it across the globe. Are there any suggestions, you know, as to how I can make the show better or fine-tune it to make it accessible to the masses?
Well, right now, as it is, I think you're doing a fine job because you're reaching a lot of young people like myself and Mr. Mensa, which is great. I don't have any concrete ideas as to how we can expand this, or you can expand this, but we will be in touch, and as I get ideas, we can always brainstorm. We could figure things out, and we'll slowly move up.
All right, Mr. Mensa.
I mean, I like the fact that Nikwe is in IT business, and he really can be an asset. Like he said, we really don't have one particular direction as we speak, but we can always think and come up with new ideas on how to reach more masses to patronize the program.
Mr. Ashi, I want to thank you for participating in my show.
You're very welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
Toronto, Canada. Mr. Mensa, thank you for joining me here in the studio.
You're very welcome. And now we pray the program come to stay.
Thanks.
And grow.
Thanks. African traditionalism is different. Different is not deficient. Different is not devilish. Different is not uncivilized. And different is not ungodly. Africans have been finding ways to connect with their creator from the beginning of time. For those of you watching the show for the first time, I want to thank you for tuning in. For my regular viewers, keep on tuning in, because we have just embarked on a journey on African traditionalism. May Amon-Re bless you. Take care.